was when he had the long hair. Wasn't a huge deal then. In the local country station, KA, Ventura County, was hosting a little Blake Shelton, like a little mini concert. We get there, and it was at the top of the Holiday Inn. Back then, they had a Holiday Inn on the beach, and at the top of the Holiday Inn was this rotating room. For fun, fancy events and Sunday brunch. And so that night it was hosted up there. Tons of chairs. Tons of empty chairs, I guess. And so we're obviously near the front, and all I can think of is, like, where is everybody? What was his song? About the telephone call. I think that was one of his songs. The words lead you to believe he left a phone message or something on the telephone. And we all know I love the telephone. Listening in on telephone conversations. So, then when the concert was over, it was real nice and easy for everybody to go take pictures, and I'll never forget, I was there with three of my karaoke girlfriends, and so we were all dressed for a fun night, and so I'll never forget when it was my turn to take a picture with him. And yes, he's tall. How he grabbed my arm and pulled me in up under his side. Not just a hug to take a picture, but a hug in and like pulling me up into him like that. But it was such a magic moment in my life that throughout the whole rest of his career, when I watched him, and he had been married once before he got married to the gasoline gal, Miranda Lambert. She has a cool song, something about gasoline. I should tell you this, even though it's Friday night chat, it seems like it's turning into a celebrity chit chat. Tell you my eye-to-eye moment with Eddie Money. Unbelievable. I grew up in the 70s and in the 80s when these people had tons of fans, and like the odds of getting close to them by yourself wasn't even a thought. But there I was, like a little concert venue. I think it was like one of those like summer nights in a park venue, or they were also having like the city. So it was like a Chamber of Commerce members, and people had their little tables and their businesses off to the side of the stage. My husband was a realtor at the time for Ventura County. And so it's like an intermission, and my husband and I get up and we start walking towards his realtor buddies. They're up to the side of the stage, and So my husband's chit-chatting with him, and I just kind of keep walking towards the stage, and looking down at me is Eddie Money, and I was all by myself. Nobody else was like clamoring around the stage or anything, and I didn't head that way to look for him. I was walking, and I think my eventual goal was to get to the restrooms or on the far other side of the stage. And I look up because the stage is a little elevated, and he's looking right at me. I don't even remember what I said. I think I was so startled. I said, oh. I don't remember if I really said hi to him. I think I was a little startled that it was eye-to-eye contact. Like I smiled or something. And so I don't know if his daughter was performing or it really was a break. It seemed like there would have been more people walking around if it was a real, like, intermission. And to this day, all I can think of is there's so many times in my life that at the time when it was happening, I wasn't there. But then, like, that moment, to be right there with them all by myself, there was nobody else around. I just keep thinking, like, how could this be? Like, he was all that and all these people around him, and it could never happen. And now here I am, and it happened. Like, how did this happen now? Why couldn't this have happened when he was all that? But the odds are that I was not into these people. Wasn't into Eddie Money when he was all that. Though I did like a few of his songs. Enjoyed his music when it came on. But never that I would think, oh, I gotta have Eddie Money concert tickets. I've told that story somewhere in one of my videos. My friend had a time at the one of the Hollywood award shows. It wasn't the one with the slapping event. It wasn't that one. I don't think it was. But her oldest child is the one into Hollywood film and animation, and he was at the award show, and he brought my friend, his mom, and so, I'm flipping through my text messages, and there she is after the award show with her son with the biggest smile. And shame on me, because after I enjoyed the picture of my friend and her son, I quickly dart to all the people standing behind them to see if it's one of the big celebrities who had won a big award. And after it, I just felt bad that I think I spent more time searching the background people for a celebrity than actually enjoying, their picture together. Terrible. So, I know I talk a lot about Topanga Plaza. a celebrity near miss from Topanga Plaza was the Brady Bunch. Oh my goodness. And it could have very easily been like Thanksgiving or holiday week, because I'll never forget we were going there. I'm not sure if my dad was with us, but we're driving in the car getting ready to turn into Topeka Plaza, and there on the billboard sign was the Brady Bunch kids appearing, and it was one day only. I was so excited, and comes to find out we weren't there on the day that they were there. Couldn't believe it. But I should have known better by now at that missed event. Like, my parents didn't do concerts or know how to get tickets. It wasn't a thing with them. So obviously I didn't know anything about it. That was terrible. And when we did get there, I think I remember me asking the workers, there was one little like an ice cream parlor or a little place of tables and chairs where you could eat underneath this one side of the mall. It wasn't where the ice skating rink was, it was somewhere else. And I said, were you here yesterday when the Brady Bunch was here? And they were. Because you could see the area was like roped off and they had chairs. I said, oh my goodness, you were this close to them. And they said, no, they were up on the balcony and the people were sitting on the chairs below. And the stage below was like the MC who introduced them. And wasn't sure of what they did. All I know is like the joy of seeing or thinking, oh my goodness, the Brady Bunch kids are here. In a split second realize they were there the day before and they weren't there. So there was that. Terrible. Let's see, who else? What's left to eat? I've eaten everything. So, I have a doctor appointment over the phone. I thought I'd mention this. How important it is when you have like a whole panel of blood work to get a copy of it. And really make an appointment. Many times the doctor will just say, all is well, there's no problem. And that's okay. But if you're able to have a phone appointment or in-person appointment and go over every test result, you could probably do this over the phone, but have a copy of it in front of you beforehand. And I'm telling you, the reason why is because my husband, I've mentioned this before, he is now off. He's off his cholesterol pill. He's off his insulin. Now, I like to boast and brag about supplement this, supplement that. But I don't want to fool anybody and think just because you do supplements, everything's going to turn around. Your eating and drinking and smoking is a big factor with all that. So probably the order of concern would be to cut out alcohol and smoking and start cleaning up your eating. Like, this is the last thing you want to eat. Any kind of a processed food is not the best. Even if you get a diet processed food item, it's not the best. Cokes and soda pops, all that, bad. What else? Bad. So just start. Maybe you can, obviously start with the alcohol and the cigarettes or smoking, and then start with, okay, I'm not going to do soda pop or the energy drinks. I'm going to start, I'm still going to open that can, but instead I'm going to drink half the can. I'm going to start watering it down with water, something, so that at the end of the year you can look back and say, oh my goodness, I'm not drinking soda pop. I'm making more of my own food, less frozen packaged food. So there's that. You know how you have to work on that. Everybody will be different. But I will say this. I'm very diligent with my husband's food because he does have health issues different than mine. And yes, I have permission to talk about it. I realize his food and drink are a big deal. He gets a way better food menu daily than I do. He would never be eating energy drink, pre-made package, Lasagna and the chips. And each day he has a healthy group of food items. No soda pop, enough water, and milk for the calcium. The one thing, though, that I do believe is a miracle supplement is the L-arginine, L-centralene capsule and the B12 little capsule. And somehow those supplements oxygenate your blood, raise the level of nitric oxide. Somehow you have to do the research, but we started taking that when COVID started. It's no coincidence that now my husband is off 3, actually 2, on cholesterol and insulin. Those are big. Those are heavy duty prescription, the insulin and cholesterol. So the other thing, he would go from 6 months, and his PSA level would raise and raise and raise and raise. So this time it hardly even went up. This is what I think. I think the help of the nitric oxide supplements gets more oxygen in your blood, so your body is better able to be healthy with the oxygen. So that was like the added kick he needed to better his cholesterol and better his insulin numbers. And his PSA, like I said, hardly even went up. It went up maybe a level or a number or 2. Like I said, whereas before it would like jump a lot. So for what it's worth, I would look into the health benefits of nitric oxide And you can also find nitric oxide boosters in beet juice or beet powder. So the reason you need to talk to the doctor, get this. The doctor called a couple weeks ago and says, oh, wonderful blood work, no problem. I was bludgeoned the doctor about the triglycerides number, around 200. They don't want it to be over 200. My husband was 140, near 140. And I said, yeah, his bad cholesterol wasn't too high. His good cholesterol is getting better. So he could get off the statin, and it was a small statin pill, but still. And we talked about the insulin. I said, I think he doesn't need insulin anymore. He says, you're right, his A1C was below 5. But had we not made that appointment and specifically went over each item, would he have mentioned that my husband doesn't need insulin and statin pill anymore? So he said, yeah, he doesn't need it. But I always call the pharmacist. Some pills, you can't quit cold turkey. So whenever a doctor tells me, oh, you don't need this, you don't need that, I always call the pharmacist and say, the doctor said I can stop taking this. How do I stop taking it? Can I go cold turkey? Do you taper off? So I just mentioned that in case you might need that information. At one time, there was a blood pressure problem with a pain patch. I called the doctor and I went over all the information. He says, yeah, he doesn't need it. You can, he doesn't need the pain patch. And then it seemed like things got worse with his blood pressure. That's when I thought to call the pharmacist, when she said, you can't do that big of a pain patch, cold turkey, you have to taper off. But thank goodness, nothing happened. But I'm grateful that I thought enough to talk to the pharmacist about it. So whether it's your kids or whoever it is, always double check with a pharmacist when the doctor tells you something about a medication. And so that's our research for the weekend, to look and see how nitric oxide really boosts your body towards better health. I know I'm not a medical professional, but I know it has something to do that when your blood is better oxygenated, it can work better in your body. And even though the oximeter machine always said like 97, 98%, I never noticed health improvements all the years, many years prior to us taking the nitric oxide supplement boosters. So I don't know how that relates. I just know 2 years after that, my husband's off 2 major medications. Now, again, we have to watch our eating. We have to watch our smoking and drinking. And sugar has just as much to do with bad cholesterol as does fats and all the other terrible things. So I had to watch our sugar. I think the only sugar my husband gets the whole day is at night. He gets dairy-free dessert ice cream with real cane sugar in it, a little bit. Allergies. If you're eating a food that's causing your body to have allergy reactions, that will raise everything. It'll raise your blood pressure and your blood sugar. He's gotten dairy out of his food plan, and eggs. So again, that's another helpful way to lower blood sugar. So have we, for Friday night chat, have I covered everything? I started out eating lasagna, ending up with health and supplement information. That's crazy. Anyways, it's one of those lay your head back and relax videos for those of us home alone on a Friday night. Just might want to hear somebody ramble on and on about everything from A to Z.